Streets of Fear presents Fort Worth, Vampire's Legacy. I grew up in Stop 6, Fort Worth's gritty slice of history. The kind of place where dreams either die or fight hard to survive. My name's Simone, 5'3", 130 pounds of unapologetic black girl magic with curves that have broken more hearts than I can count. My brother Jace, he's the yin to my yang. Early 30s, all muscle, and a no-nonsense attitude sharper than a lawyer's briefcase. If it wasn't for Jace, I wouldn't have escaped the streets, let alone lived to tell this story. But our ascent wasn't ordinary. Our success, it's built on something darker, primal, and bloodstained. Because Jace and I, we're vampires. But that's a secret we've buried under the guise of nobility. Life in the shadows isn't pretty, it's ruthless, and in Stop 6, predators survive or die trying. Our mission was simple, to rebuild Stop 6. Jace, a sharp-eyed attorney, found an opportunity, a stretch of abandoned land near Rosedale and Stalcup. It was a gold mine waiting to be turned into housing, parks, prosperity. But prosperity in places like Stop 6 always comes at a cost. The owner of the land was Alexander Crow, a man who was more shadow than flesh, pale and dressed like a bad dream from another century. From the moment I shook his cold hand, I knew he was off. His cobalt blue eyes locked me in place. They might as well have been steel chains draped in centuries of malice. Crow wasn't just strange, he was ancient, something worse than Jace and I, worse even than the violence of Stop 6. Crow's grin was razor thin when he spoke, his words wrapping around me like a cold wind. "You and your brother seem hungry. Tell me, Miss Dupree, how far would you go to bring your dreams to life?" My reply was forced but steady. "As far as we need to, Mr. Crow." That was when everything began unraveling. The deal went through easy, too easy, but the ink hadn't even dried before the unease set in. Shadows deepened in unexpected corners. The air grew heavy in Stop 6, like it was bracing for something terrible. People fell ill, out of nowhere, flu, fevers, families thrown into chaos. Jace didn't want to hear my suspicions. He's the rational one, forever skeptical. "Coincidence," he muttered, poring over blueprints late into those sleepless nights. But I knew better. Crow wasn't watching us from the sidelines, he was pulling strings. The climax came one humid night on Ramey Avenue under a buzzing flicker of a dying streetlight. Jace was debating new designs and I was distracted, scanning the silent street. Then I felt it, the icy prickle of being watched. When I turned, there he was. "What do you want?" I demanded, my voice ablaze against the growing fear in my chest. He stepped from the darkness deliberately, each movement heavy with intent.
"Your legacy."
Crow lunged before the words could even register. In a blur of shadows and cold steel, he pinned me against a street lamp's rusted metal. His fangs flashed, vicious, ancient, and hungry. But Crow underestimated me. Beneath the armor of suits and speeches, I was still Simone Dupree of Stop 6, a survivor, a fighter. As his teeth grazed my neck, something in me erupted, a fire hotter than anything my immortal body had felt in decades. I didn't flinch. I fought. Turning my head swift and sure, I sank my own fangs into his throat. The taste was otherworldly, iron and electricity surging through me like a lightning storm. But there was no pleasure, only purpose. I wasn't just feeding, I was pulling the immortality from him, draining what made him untouchable. Crow staggered back, clutching at his neck. For the first time, there was fear in his timeless eyes. "What are you?" I licked the blood from my lips, a knowing smirk curling. "Someone you don't want to mess with." In seconds, Crow changed. His once pale skin flushed, his body weakened. Mortality was reclaiming him. An immortal brought to heel. It wasn't just justice, it was dominance. Stepping closer, my voice dripping contempt.
"You are a mere mortal now. Now, you work for us."
Jace finally spoke, his presence calm as ever. "Everything all right, Simone?" "Better than ever," I replied, still watching Crow tremble. Bound by mortality, Crow had no choice but to serve us. Over the next several years, he used his underground ways, brokered deals, closed gaps, and paved the way for Stop 6's rise. The broken shadow of what he'd been was our pawn now, a proof of what power really looked like when wielded by predators who could still taste hunger. Jace and I brought Stop 6 back from the brink, not with charity, but with calculated power. The people working for us, Our own, chosen and turned, a rising empire of tireless loyalty. But every now and then when I see Crow from across a crowded room, his fear reminds me of the truth he can't escape. No matter how high we rise or how much legacy we build, Stop Six's shadows shaped me. And in the war between predator and prey, I will always bite first.